9:35, we'll call this meeting for Commissioners Court to order. Make note that notice has been given in the manner for the time required. This is a regular meeting, Monday, December the 8th, 2014. It's 9:35 a.m. If it's convenient, you please stand.
Father, we come today just thanking you for another day, Father, and just thank you for your many blessings. Father, we just ask you, Lord, to be with us today in court, and just ask, Father, for your guidance and your direction in all that we say and all that we do. Father, we pray for wisdom in the decisions that need to be made, Father. Father, we just ask that you be with the families around us, lost of loved ones, Father, and just ask that you just comfort them at this time. We ask you, Lord, to go with us and forgive us what fails you. We ask you in your name.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Make one note, Barry, that we are in the absence of Commissioner Rogers, Commissioner number 3. I believe he's on a duty that he had in Corpus Christi, Texas, I think. So he's going to be absent today. I guess we will note that. It's on. Okay, item number 3 is public announcements, presentation, comments. What I have on the courthouse here is on our agenda is our courthouse heating system progress report on S.O. Brook, the announcement of Fort Bell Mountain, new Fort Bell Mountain caretakers, tenants. With regard to the heating system, at the end of the day, Friday, all 3 of our boilers were up working and talking to one another and functioning. There may still be a little issue on that very first one. It seems to want to go offline every once in a while, but it hasn't been any problem to get back online. But, for the time being, it looks like they're functioning properly. And of course, we've had mild weather and it's been plenty warm. Now, on the other, that's on. Also, with regard to the courthouse, the restrooms and the cabinet, the big cabinet, it's in the process of being repaired. It's got the new top on it. It's had at least one coat of sealer type paint on the inside. I'm not sure if they're completely through doing that. It appeared to me this morning that they probably were going to come back and do maybe a little more painting and sealing on that. So. But I think we'll have that problem for the greatest part corrected. We're going to complete that. Bobby, would you please give us an update on the roof?
It looks to me like that they just about got all the metal up on the part that they're doing with that, and they should be finished with just doing this knick-knack stuff up on the flat roof. And they don't like a whole lot being done, so they're
Maybe this week.
should be, if the conditions, when it's wet like this, they can't finish it up until it dries, so it's kind of depending on the weather. If the weather stays and hold together, I don't see why they won't get it done.
Okay. Last week we interviewed 3 very high quality candidates for employment, attendants and caretakers at Fort Bell Mountain. It was a good problem to have, very difficult to make the decision to call on that. But at the end of the day, the court chose James and Amber Hammond, who will be moving up here from Fort Stockton. And I believe they will begin their duties officially on January the 5th. Is that correct?
That's what happened.
Yeah, it was it's not an easy process. That was a very difficult high quality, no drawbacks on any of them. Everybody had things that they brought to the table. You know, as difficult as that is, it's a good problem to have. Anybody else want to say anything about it?
No, I just congratulate the court for taking the time and effort to make sure that we comb through all those folks at the end of the day. After 8 hours, it was still difficult to make a decision.
Along with that, we mentioned it, not in our interviews, but through the discussion, it was brought up by the chairman of the search committee, who, by the way, made, he didn't indicate one or the other. He said, here, these are equal, y'all do the work. But he did mention that at some point in time, it looked to him like, including all the committee, that we probably need a privacy fence around that residence. And I think the court kind of concurred, so we'll, be thinking about that, and we'll put that as an item on the next agenda to discuss that a little bit. See how we want to handle that, and if we want to handle that, just what direction we want to take. Okay. Very good. Anything else or announcements? Anybody out here have any announcements or comments they would like to make? Okay. We move on to item number 4. Consider the clerk's minutes from previous meetings, November 24th and December the 2nd. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions that need to be made to either set of those minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept them as presented in both instances.
So moved.
Second. Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Pruitt to accept both sets of those minutes, those being from November the 24th and from December the 2nd. All in favor? Carried 4-0. I don't think there's any reason, Ms. Clerk, to address the absence of Commissioner Wiley in all the votes, but we addressed it at the meeting that he's not here.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Oh, well. Excuse me.
I was looking at the, make sure it's still there.
Okay, item number 5, my apology. Consider an update on security pledges.
$10,115,648.78.
That's over, isn't it?
That is.
Okay, good.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Pruitt to accept those security pledges as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Okay, Ms. Auditor, budget amendments, payment of vouchers.
I do have a budget amendment that I guess was discussed on October 27th. That was to move $3,500 from contingency to the sheriff capital outlay line, and that was to go into their, for their vehicles. And that's the day I left, and I didn't see that in the notes, but now I can move it.
Okay, we want to
So moved on the budget amendment. 35.
ratify.
Second.
Mr. Wiley, second by Mr. Pruitt. All in favor? Aye. 4-0. Very well. Here.
I'll make her.
Okay, is that everything on amendments?
Yes.
We'll go to vouchers.
Okay, on vouchers, for today's vouchers, a total of $107,990.28. And of that, out of the general account is $79,604.69.
So move.
Second. Yeah, me too.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Pruitt, second by Commissioner Sykes to authorize those vouchers payable as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried 4-0.
I'm still standing here.
You got
That's
something?
it, I do have something else.
Never a good sign.
Let's talk about the ag barn again.
Uh-oh.
You know, we did not have the sale out here last month, so that was some money that we missed. We paid all the water bill and, it's gas or something else. We paid all the bills except these two that, you know, we did the electric bill for the rodeo grounds and the electric bill for that, and they're all paid out of the ag barn. The total of those two bills, and I guess it's high up here because they're working on show animals, I'm sure. $433.81 for these two. One being $217.74 and one being $216.07. But in my ag farm checking account, I have $249.75.
You have enough to pay that one, or you did pay
I
that?
can do one of them, but I can't do both of them.
Okay, you say you have what?
I have $249.75. $249.
That's $449. Excuse me.
Where we at with the city?
Excuse me.
Where we at with the city?
I haven't got any confirmation back from them, but I have two contacts, two discussions that I don't know them may.
Do some more tweaking.
What do we have budgeted for that?
May be interested.
We had budgeted more, but it all depends on what we bring in as far as rentals. Yeah.
Cash flow problem.
Let's see what we, and you know, it was all kind of, the budget was based on us renting it for trades days and,
You
Kids
know,
working on their animals out there is not an unusual circumstance.
oh, out here, no, because that's gonna happen every November, December, they start working on them. And that's, you know, that's fine, but this bill up here,
working on that too, a little bit.
They've got a lot of heat lamps going on out there, I imagine.
$6,505 is what we budgeted, so we expected to take in as much as we spend, and that's,
How much we have budgeted on utility?
$4,855.
It's for
And this electric bill, oh, well, and normally that'd be, you know, during normal stuff, but you know, this bill out here at the ag barn ran pretty high in the summer, it was $300 something, $400.
Matter is, there's just not money in the account.
It's not being,
It's not a matter of budget.
not a matter of
Budget
shortfall of
doesn't count.
budget, it's a shortfall of cash in the account.
right. And, you know, and then I'll get, every once in a while we'll get and I think she said she had a small bill from Buchanan's probably for fixing a toilet or something else that, you know, but, so, you know, you're gonna get little small repair bills too.
Okay, other than a contingency fund, where can we take that from?
I don't know. Last time we just wrote a check out of contingency and receipted, because it is a separate checking account, we have to actually write a check and have it received in.
So we start the year with a $6,800 budget with zero in the account.
No.
Yeah, because,
Or less?
Yes.
Well,
It all
it
depends
wasn't
on
rented
rentals.
hardly at all this year, so far.
even some of the other
Even in the
people that
summer.
rented it aren't renting it so much anymore, I mean, there's not
Furniture.
much to it out there.
No,
Let's
I
take,
mean, we got to pay them.
let's take 2,500 out of contingency then, put in there.
To try to cover it.
And if we rent it, which I know this probably won't ever happen, but if we get more at the end of then we have left, we can always put that back in contingency.
Yes, we can,
So
and
So it's not a one-way move, we move it back.
we can bring
yes,
it back.
we can always try to check it.
Yeah.
2,500?
Yes. because you're gonna spend almost $600 right off the bat. Yeah.
How's that money put in there?
Right.
As it comes in proportionally?
Just,
Oh, they're
yes,
budgeted
as
line?
she gets the money for the rental, she receipts it right into the ag barn.
Talk about the money that we budgeted, is all the money we budgeted simply rentals?
That's all it is.
We used to have a lot of quinceañeras and all that, and I go, you know, it's kind of dirty and there's no furniture.
There's no chairs and tables out
So they haven't really rented it.
So they go out to the deal out there.
there.
I'll second that motion, just because we're gonna have a few months, probably a few months, we're gonna have to do that, and we've got another little option, possible option or two.
And if those options work out, then we can take what's left and add and put it right back in the
You
ditch.
can always,
We can move it back.
okay, thank you.
Still have obligations.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, item number 8, consider employee bonds. This will be of our Christopher D. Barron, our new county attorney. Big bond for him is $2,500. It's
So moved.
Second. All in favor? 4-0. That bond is to the governor.
I believe that's right, I think we have to,
And
It says Governor of Texas.
if,
well, I think we could,
That-
we have
I
to
think-
get it.
probably the original, they sent to the comptroller, is that correct?
She's got that book in there where it says to send it
I
on.
think it'll go to the comptroller, and we'll need a copy of that. I guess we've got a copy of that to file with the clerk.
Okay,
That just says he'll pay the money for the state to do it.
Very good. Item number 9, consider extension agent Brad Marshall, Kenny Barron, request for reimbursements, $749.84 and $0 respectively.
I move we make the reimbursements.
Second. Penny's got her hands full.
Yeah. Motion by Commissioner Sides, second by Commissioner Wiley, to authorize reimbursements as stated. To Brad Marshall and Laura Kenny Warren, Kenny Barron, all in favor? Okay. Item number 10 in your package will have a proposed road crossing on McGee Road. I believe that's in Commissioner Wiley's precinct.
Yes. They've had a temporary line laying beside there to make sure that it was gonna produce the amount of gas that would warrant spending extra money to bury line and do that. And it hasn't proven that, so I guess we're gonna go forward with it. And they are gonna cut the roads to the border, which I don't have a problem with that, where it's at.
Okay, that. Or road cut?
Yes,
Okay.
so much.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Sykes, to authorize Target Midstream Services LLC
Whose precinct is that?
to cut the road and lay a permanent gas line underneath the road. All in favor? 4-0.
Beauty part about that, that's one place I gotta worry about it, 'cause it's gonna be private property all the way down there to that.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I think the treasurer has money in hand for that.
That's one, I didn't know whose precinct it
Did we ever get straight on those?
Okay, item number 11, copy sync agreement. Rudolph?
Morning. Caitlin and Phil Lane, we're here with Cops and,
You gotta call me. We never heard. Just you get your name.
been working with Caitlin for the last few months. Ended up able to save us around 50% on our annual fee for cops. So right now we're paying $14,400 a year and only utilizing a portion of it. We're about to convert all of our offense report writing over to CopSync to utilize the software more. It's more streamlined. It's a lot better than that data as far as report writing goes. And tracking all of our offenses. So we're January 1st, we're switching over. Some are happier than others about it.
Is that a contractual arrangement?
No, sir, we already have the capability of doing it now. We're just not utilizing it to its full extent.
Is it because we were done it the old way so long, we just kept on doing it?
Yes,
That's it. So now we're utilizing the software that's available to us that we're already
Paying for it?
paying for?
Yes, sir.
You'll be able to utilize it.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I mean, just,
And change it will be hard.
Right.
that is all good for old school, but it's awful for policing. I mean, really, cops think it's so much better.
The good thing about it is you're out there at the scene making a report, and it's more fresh on your mind, right
Yeah,
there.
you can do your report from the vehicle on scene. Our vehicle impound and tow sheets can be done inside the vehicle, print off right there. I'll let her explain more of the capabilities because I'm still learning myself.
So it streamlines the thing.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, and they can start it in their vehicles, and then you obviously don't want them out there just for
Okay.
hours, but then you go back
What
in.
problem is that gonna cause between filing the case here at the courthouse and the activities that are required in that data? If I understand that two systems don't really work together.
Not yet, but I believe you said you were working on that. But our jail is still going to be utilizing that data for all that stuff. So it's no different than Olney Police Department turning in a report, Graham Police Department turning in a report, DPS for the game warden. They all use their own different report software. So none of their stuff's compatible with that data. So the prosecutor, it'll just be like any other agency turning in a report. There's really not going to be, the only manual work we're actually going to have to do right now is UCR and racial profiling. CopSync does its own, and NetData does its own. So we'll have to pull it from the jail and pull it from CopSync and populate a spreadsheet and to do the report. That's less than an hour's worth of work. So it's going to streamline the process a lot more. Our equipment was purchased in 08 that we have on our vehicles. There's a lot of, computers are antiquated. We were able to knock the price down, like I said, for the agreement, for the annual fee, about 50%, if I'm not mistaken. But to get new equipment, we were able to even knock that price down some more. And I don't remember the figure, 13.
It's 13,193. Is that it?
13,193. Yeah.
13,193.40.
Mhm.
And what we'll do is it'll be a financing act through government capital. Which I know y'all done business with before. Yeah, 267.63, with an interest rate of 3.9. The total cost would be $53,000, but just 4 annual payments, and that way y'all get the software for 4 years. They can finance the computers, which the computers have a 4-year bumper warranty. So anything happens to the computers, they ship it back to GTAC and we'll either fix it or send a new one free of charge.
So the cost is 50,
The total cost is $50,070.52.
we're talking about,
4 annual payments of $13,267.63.
just budget.
Well, yes, because we're already paying the 14.4. So we're
This
going
actually lowers it.
this
So you actually
lower.
for more money. So
No,
No.
less than
It's less money. It's just going to be a 4-year agreement to pay this note out.
So it's within your budget now, it's budgeted as a different item, which is.
No, it's budgeted the
It's
same
not.
item.
But what I guess what I'm asking for is just an agreement, a 4-year agreement from you guys saying that we can allot this much money for that time.
But we've been doing it
We've
anyway.
been doing it
budgeted for software
We've been
maintenance.
budgeted.
14.4, and now we're going down. But after those 4 years,
commitment.
I think,
after those 4 years have passed, then we'll pay the.
I think it comes out to being $6,300 is what we said, $14,390 y'all paying now. It'll drop down to just the license cost of being
might be several
$6,200.
horses that we're not exceeding Give you that total figure, situation that we went into the budget year.
I can give you an
No,
exact.
it's like, oh, it's,
Oh, total?
yeah.
53,000?
So we pay out our fourth, it's not
070?
13,000, whatever, in
52.
4 years, which is 252. After 4 years is up, we've satisfied the loan. And then our maintenance agreement is just on an annual basis.
Yeah,
Less
I
than
think
50%.
that figure's not on the stock anywhere.
And trying to utilize the software. You're on, you guys will.
That's what y'all paid for, 14,390, just for the licenses. This.
So it's a streamlining and a consolidation of all that figure.
So that way, I mean,
Oh,
hardware's so expensive.
I thought you were.
That's all it is, equipment's so expensive,
Oh.
and this would just help space it out, especially with the 4-year warranty, it's kind of a, it's an easy bet, because
Yeah.
you're not just taking on the responsibility of if this crashes, we're gonna have to purchase another $3,000 computer.
So we were into an annual cost in the next 4 year budget anyway, right? For this.
It's just however long they had cop sync, we're gonna be in this to make a difference.
I've been paying 14.4 since
Yeah.
08, so
Yeah.
we're gonna, now it's less. We're getting an update on the equipment, and after that, the service.
I like doing more for less.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, I think the first years that Carl and I got it, we had some kind of grant.
And that, it was all done with grant, we
Yeah,
grant was
great.
$76,000, which bought all of the computers and everything that.
Stay in
The problem with grants, they always go away, but.
You go away, then you're stuck in the wheel.
Certainly no, yeah.
They're designed to get you
We're trading those, we're trading those computers in, so, we
Yes.
can work on.
I will call the grant people, and I think as long as I can document and tell them where those computers are.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like body armor, you know, it's gonna wear out. and
Right.
So,
But as long as you get a photo.
Yes.
absolutely.
Well, as long as you got something from them, a piece of paper saying, I got serial number, blah, 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 blah. And then if they come and look, say, hey, we gave them a top sync or trade in on this, you're good.
So, just have
Just
it.
paper trail real quick.
Right.
Just gotta get the okay.
What do you need from us?
Just need,
Okay for the
Yes.
yeah.
Okay for the commitment, I would think, on the contract,
Yes, yeah, it's not a
Well, it's
contract.
not a contract, can't be a contract.
annual service fee. No, we're buying the equipment.
Yeah, it's a contract with Government County.
At 3.1%.
That's a contract here.
Oh,
So, do you want me to hand these copies down?
Yeah,
What's that interest rate, what's the 3.1?
3.98.
You could have got better than that, if you could bill it.
Absolutely. I got my car ready to get to it.
I'm gonna refinance this.
Never did contract.
You're probably right.
We have to before, so.
That's that figure. I see that figure.
and look at
We're paying unnecessarily for certain features, honestly, just growth the cost of, like all our admin and clerk staff, we're paying way too much.
Well, those are discoveries within the budget that we need to continue to find.
So Cheryl, what were they budgeted for, 14?
14.4 is what we put in there, put in the other equipment line, which there's 30,000 in there, but,
Right.
so
I mean, this year's invoice was 14.4. We
Yes.
haven't paid yet.
they always send it ahead of time, so we know we have not.
So they'll come in under their budget on this
Come
one.
on up here with us.
Well,
Yeah.
Phil, come up here.
Lady, you check with.
But yes, they had that budgeted in the equipment line, actually there's 30,000 in there, but 14.4 was designated to make the maintenance payment. Because we knew that, we always get that in time, thank you for
The
time.
budgetary matters are provided for in this budget.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, this is in the budget in the equipment line.
the sheriff's office does the budget, they've already budgeted this year.
But the money we're using here is in the maintenance line, right?
It's in that equipment line, because yes, we always just put that maintenance in that equipment line in there, because they don't really know.
Okay. So is this a 1-year contract or is this 4 years?
4-year contract.
Okay, so it's a brand new contract.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Of course.
So we have to go through this government, whatever, to finance it?
You don't have to. I know y'all used government capital before.
That's what we have, and we've used them when we refinance AS400.
I mean, if we're gonna do it at 3.9,
Mhm.
you can get it to something maybe?
But we can get better than that, we can get to 3.9, I'm sure.
Then that's fine.
This is regular 4.
Exactly, it's normally 4.99, and when I talked to Stephanie Cates, who's government capital, since y'all have a good standing with them, she lowered it to 3.9.
I'm just saying, we knock it down a little more, it saves you money, the county money, that's the thought.
So I'm just wondering on this smaller one, how much lower you could get.
Just one,
I just need to see our
everybody
capability first.
understand, this is a contract, this has to come through the Commissioner's Court
Yes.
to be authorized, and that it is for a 4-year period of time, it's only like, so.
Same cost as an automobile.
I'll make the motion that we enter into this contract, but we give American National Leasing an opportunity to look at it to see if they can lower the finance rate on it. I mean, if we can save $1,000 or whatever. It's taxpayer money. What do you think?
Yeah, except that entering into it today, we're entering into a contract with
No, I'm not saying,
government capital.
I say we enter into it after we.
How does that work?
Okay.
We can't.
So
How does that work?
We can-
we table it until next meeting?
Yeah. Is that fine with y'all? Okay, let's just go. I looked at him and he's like.
Yeah, I mean, anything to save y'all money, we don't care, we can go through a different agency, we
So you
just.
don't have any kind of connections with the financing?
No, government capital has just always been who we direct everyone to.
Okay.
But we've done with other entities as well, that's not an issue.
I'm
Our,
familiar with government capital and Stephanie Cates, and so if, she may could even.
this court has saved this county a lot of money in financing this past year without continuing that trend possible.
We just wouldn't look, we wouldn't look.
How much
$1,000 here,
time?
$1,000 there, adds
I can have that, I can have it by Wednesday or Thursday this week, so I'll be ready for next Commissioner's Court meeting.
We won't have another commissioner's court till the 22nd.
I didn't think we had that one next week.
Okay, now what was your motion?
Hang on, Dad. Judge.
I don't think
Oh my goodness.
I think we.
I didn't really take on this.
We need to table it. We need got hunger. Yeah. Then table it to the next meeting.
So y'all good with the 22nd? Okay.
That's news to me.
So I know that we table this until the 22nd after we get American National Leasing to.
That agree to the.
If the court wants to agree to
To
the
purchase
purchase,
better financing.
That's fine with me.
we agree to the purchase, is the financing that we're questioning.
Yes. It's the percentage.
Okay, we got a motion for Commissioner Pruitt, is there a second for that?
I'll say.
Motion by Commissioner Pruitt, second by Commissioner Wiley to table, the execution of this contract, until the, next agenda, which will be on December the 22nd, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you good with that?
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Only thing that changes the contract is the figures.
Right. Which hopefully will lower.
It will be lower.
Very good. Item number 12, we consider lease on 2 vehicles for the SO.
You guys have this in your packet. I'm just gonna have it.
That's fine.
Yeah, I went ahead and gave them all the copies in there so that they can.
Okay. I'm working with Billy on this a little bit, trying to stretch the dollar on some vehicles. And we had, was it 9,500, 9,700?
In the budget, we budgeted 26.5, which we knew that 16,711 of that is for the 2 vehicles we already have on lease that will be paid off in 16. So we have a payment this year and then I think one in 16. So that left 97.89 to put forth on a vehicle, and then they talked about doing some trades. Well, as I did this morning with that 3,500 out of contingency, like y'all directed, from the commissioner's court because of the vehicle they gave for the bond supervisor. And then it sounds like City of Alny's gonna take that other vehicle for $2,500.
Oh, they didn't change their mind,
That's what I.
Did they really?
Yeah.
They did.
But they can't take it, they can't take it until he gets these vehicles. And then I guess we're looking at trading the other vehicle you have and hopefully getting at least 25 for that. So that leaves them about $18,289 for the two sheriff's vehicles.
And what we need to, Cheryl talks about it, is just to get you guys approval for next budget cycle to approve 15,667 for future financing of the second vehicle we had.
So we've already got it in this one, you're just looking at the 2,000.
This is
Yes.
satisfied? Well, they're making a commitment beyond.
Yes,
Okay.
we're making, for this, for what they're wanting to do now with the down payments, we have the money in the budget, but this will be committing these other two vehicles for 4 years,
With the,
3 more years.
the monies that we moved, the $3,500 makes the budget reach.
Yes, 18,289, if they can get the 2,500 for the.
So what we've typically been getting on the Tahoes, when we do it, when we turn around and do refinancing on those, we've been getting anywhere between 12 to 18,000 on those Tahoes. We're only projecting 2,500, being very conservative with it, so I'm confident we can get enough of that to cover.
We budgeted 2 vehicles for the sheriff's department this budget year.
No, we actually budgeted one.
And a half.
Yeah, 1.5.
1.5. Y'all being asked to budget for 3 right now for next year too.
Well,
The other
this,
one's a jail.
yeah, and we did budget 4,000 in the jail for this bottom one, and I've talked to him about that down payment, we're gonna put a little bit more down on it.
We authorized trade and swaps fine, then we don't
Yes.
need to be talking about next year's budget until.
That's exactly right, on the middle budget.
But making a commitment
You can
like
make
this,
that request, Lynn.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're
But if we commit to it now, it'll have to be in the
then
budget.
yes, that's why I wanted him. to-
Right, and
That's
that's
it,
it.
we're spending future money.
How much more is that going to be than what we originally decided?
We're in one.
For this year?
We'll get 2.
1.5, we're taking money for 1.5 vehicles and just making it 2 with all, with this extra
To
money.
go with the two we've already got, so that's more.
Right, and ideally with the lease situation, what my objective is here is to get all 6 of our patrol vehicles on the lease, which that's every year, that figure's gonna go, or every other, or every 3 years, that figure's gonna go up until we reach a plateau. And just get on rotation with 2 vehicles at a time into a patrol
Fine.
So next
Like that
year,
budget request, we'll send out those things about June.
Well, no, what I know.
But we'd
what
have
he's
to
saying
budget
is if
next
we-
year
If we do this now, we're
30,000.
budgeting basically for the future, and that's
Exactly right.
so next year we
Force us
budget,
into the position to give them they've got their budget fixed before we get to fix the budget.
We have the money to make the initial purchase.
Right.
But being a lease, you know, this one, lease payment, being a lease, I mean, we've got to be able to forecast those payments, and that's what Cheryl mentioned we need to
So-
go through about.
so instead of, we'll still make one more payment of the 16,711 for the 2 that we already have. And then with what it is on this one, it'll be 30,378 that we have to budget for next
For
year.
1 year, and then.
Yes,
Right.
and then,
Is there any other vehicle you got up there that y'all don't use?
That's right.
They don't
The
pay.
only one we really didn't use, we transferred over for the bonds provided position.
Okay.
And we're pulling 2 Tahoes off. If we receive 2 vehicles, we're gonna pull 2 off the line to utilize funds from those vehicles that are older.
And they're giving us 9,000 apiece for that.
So far, what's happening here is that we're using a sheriff's office vehicle for the bond supervisor, which we had anticipated city to use.
Yeah.
Yes.
which, y'all authorized to move 3,500 out of contingency into their capital outlay. And then we get the 2,500 from the city of Albany for the vehicle, and then whatever we get for the other vehicle trade-in, that will all go towards
Right.
the 18,000 pay down.
We're looking at an additional lease.
Correct.
Yes, for
Only
these,
one, and one additional lease.
But it'll be one, but it'll be for both these cars. Now, what can happen is if you get one in before you get the other one, which I don't see, if we get them at the same time, it should come at the same time.
Well,
You
the
got
other
to.
one of them's we've already
Budgeted.
been through the process here to
Correct,
authorize.
so you have one lease.
We're authorizing one
You're
additional,
offering one more lease, where you have these two cars.
and the money's there to do that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And that's at what interest?
2.5.
2,450.
Okay. And that's probably where we need to go. We don't need to go to authorizing future expenditures out of some of the budget year.
Well, it'll, if we enter into a 3-year lease,
Yes, sir.
we're basically
Obviously,
authorizing this.
we're gonna have to deal with that then, but
Oh, yeah, just, talking, yeah, not look at it till it gets there.
that's, I mean,
I understand.
we're on.
Our intention was to reduce the number of automobiles being operated out of the sheriff's office, I mean, with more of them at a higher price on that.
6.
Well, then that's the police cycle. I mean,
Oh, what year am I in?
everything's on a 3-year lease. We're going to a 3-year lease, so
Yes.
every third year.
We'll have the money
We're
to make the payments, right, the down payments and everything right now.
Do you
All we
think,
need to do is authorize the additional.
you think that Tahoe
Yes.
bring more than one?
I moved up the price of lease.
Yeah.
But also, if you look at the bottom, it's the one, and it's in the budget also, the lease for the, vehicle for the jail transport. And he put 3,000 down, we actually budgeted 4,000, and I told him we could go ahead and pay down another $900, and that would hit the document fee.
So that could make a whole.
So that would be a little bit less.
So I need to rescind my motion. Majority here.
We budgeted one in the jail, so this is just kind of less.
We utilize it.
But the other thing to look at in this deal is that payment he's looking at there for the next year's deal could be even lower than what it is.
Yes, that's- they get more for that trade on
So
that.
that's what we need to do is to just go ahead and do what we're gonna do with this right here and revisit this later on.
Alright, well then
And let's just say that you get the most we can out of that trade-in, and that's something we need to
We're already
worry about.
locked in at 2,500. We've got somebody that's offering us that. If really can get us more, great. If not, I know we have 2,500 to compete with Gerald just said.
Well, that's our plan, but we want to get more.
So I'll rescind my motion and make another motion that we enter into the contract for the sheriff's department vehicle Tahoe and then another contract for the jail vehicle. Alright,
Those two contracts?
Two contracts.
right, but the jail one is already paid for, actually it's paid less, so she added another 900 to it, which will lower it.
Yes, figures a little off.
Yeah.
We didn't use the full amount.
Have we already agreed to that lease?
It was budgeted, now we don't have the lease or anything on it yet, I mean,
But it was
they
Yeah, we
have.
don't actually do a lease until we get it in. We just need to get approval to move forward so I can get it ordered. But it's important that we
Would
get
y'all
it
know
ordered
what
as
they
soon as
were doing?
possible.
Possibly.
I just didn't want to abandon our budget on vehicles at the sheriff's office this early in the budget year.
No,
We're looking at 3 months yet.
other than what I'm moving in there for contingency and the other stuff there.
It might be
Should be here.
2 to 3 months, it could probably be 3 with the holiday.
Another 3 more months, we're over halfway through our fiscal year.
Okay,
Yeah.
the release gonna be to authorize the leases as described. Is that all right? And that's gonna be on 2 vehicles, 3 vehicles, 1 vehicle, 2 vehicles, or 3 vehicles.
It's actually 3, 2 in the SO and 1 in the jail.
We taking the stuff out of the other K-9 unit, put it in this new one?
Yes, sir. Well, actually, we're considering, and I'm sorry, these figures, we have a K9 Tahoe and a regular Tahoe budgeted out here. We're considering retiring both K9s.
Stalls itself.
So we may not upfit this new vehicle with K9 equipment, so that's gonna save us even more money. Probably $3,000 off of the K9.
So you're gonna totally disband the K-9?
Well,
I know,
that's a
everybody's
long story.
No, I know.
Blu-ray's all, it's time for him to cycle out. Luca, that's a different story, and I'd like to share that with you guys sometime soon.
Well, if you come back 6 months later and decide to go to the doctor, you might have another K-9 unit.
Or can we?
Confirm whether you just-
We have a cage from a earlier body style Tahoe that we could probably utilize. it's something else or another Tahoe. And we have all that emergency equipment that goes along with it.
So you're gonna save it?
We're gonna save it, we're not getting rid of any of the K-9 equipment.
Well, it can be retrofitted and all that.
That was our problem with the new Tahoes. Like, we tried to find 2014 or 2013 Tahoe that this cage would swap over, and we couldn't.
My boys have driven the cut toward full fit.
That's,
You just talked to me, that's one of that fit.
Yeah, what if it's a 2011? It's a 2000, we have a 2011 SSV four-wheel drive available, it's only got 34,000 miles on it. The issue with that one is it's white and it's out of warranty, so that kind of negates moving over, but it is a good unit, and it would be good for a precinct truck. It is four-wheel drive, it's vinyl on the inside, it's a good car.
and the four-wheel drive is also high off the ground. We
Yeah.
wanted a two-wheel for the dog, it's lower than that, so.
Are you totally confused?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
But I'll go with each of you guys about the dogs. I'm going to explain that to you guys.
Not the possibility.
Those handlers can be quick.
That's,
Don't they have to retrain? More money, more wine.
Okay, you, one, two, or three?
not today.
Okay. And the money's all there for free this time around.
Yes, it will be.
That's your motion, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Authorize
So they said the vehicles.
leases of 3 vehicles. They described them to us.
To the sheriff's office or the jail.
Through American National.
At 2.5%,
Yes, sir.
the 2.2%.
2.5 on two
I'm
Tahoes.
negotiating.
No, and I said.
I mean, all of it is actually higher.
Really, they have that on it. Authorize it too.
Go ahead, car.
Well, because it's 5 years, it's a 5-year purchase, so.
2.5, 2.5,
2.5 to two Tahoes and 2.65 for the Impala.
6.
What happened to our 2.2 that we
Yeah.
got?
Serious.
Hey, what happened to our 2.2 that we got here? So we did all this other stuff.
Competition.
They didn't want to go back with
That
that.
was just moving forward, and all the stuff I had before, 2.25, was stuff that we'd already started talking about before those rates started going.
Don't know about on that one, that one.
Okay. Have a vote on that, all in favor?
Who's that?
Who did second? Jim.
Did you second that?
I didn't second that.
Nobody seconded that. I'm
We need to back it.
I make a motion.
We'll see anybody jumping up there to do it either. We're not clear on this discussion that we thought we might.
Yeah.
Well, that's a commitment in the future. Here's what bothers
I
me.
think we've made provisions for 3 vehicles that includes a budget amendment that we went through a few weeks ago that we just ratified, the $3,500 transfer. There was money's in there for about 1.5 vehicle leases. We added enough money, and I think, if I understand right, the trade difference and things supposed to make the ground for 3 separate leases.
So you're seconding it?
I didn't say that.
So really and truly, we're
Well, we've already made a decision to do this, guys, and you know, a couple weeks ago, we ratified it.
really and truly, all we're doing is half of another vehicle.
Right.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Call the question.
All we're doing is half of the vehicle.
Front half of
And hopefully, that what we get out of it, more out of that, call them
It's
2,500.
a commitment.
Yes.
So that's it.
Oh, left side, right side. Okay.
Provision stops, now let's vote on that, all in favor. All for concur.
But
4-0.
for the next one, for next thing.
Oh,
I kind of want you.
Item number 13. discuss, consider radio system, or that is Young County's radio system, SO and EMS repeater system. Mr. Pruitt.
All right, as y'all know, we had the shootout there in Alden, Texas, and officers on handhelds could not get out. You know, you got a situation like that where you're being shot at and you can't talk on the radio. Well, that's a lose-lose situation. So I don't know what we could do, how we could get a system that could help the guys, not only the police, but you got your EMS, who can always get into any kind of a mess, or your fire department, who can get into a mess, and they can't get out on their handhelds in that part of the area, you know, that part of the world over there. Yeah, where?
It can be done. We've already checked into it. The only thing is money.
Well, I
Because
we gotta spend it. We gotta help these guys.
you've got their tower up there on it, and they're willing to do it, to share with us on that. But, that's exactly what has to happen. You have to put a repeater up there that you can use.
What kind of money are we talking about?
And if you're gonna do all three, it's gonna have to be 3 different repeaters. You know, as far as the EMS goes, I don't know how much that they'd have to do, because EMS goes to Olney, from Olney to Loving. That's their route. That's where they stop, at the four-way crossroads. Sheriff's Department is all over the place. So to me, if you start out with the Sheriff's Department first, and that'd be the main one, and you're looking probably around $3,500 to $4,000, I think, somewhere there, but this is a rough figure.
Per repeater?
You just have to have one,
Oh, up there.
up there.
And it's not only Alney. You can go out here by the Wildcatter, or you can go to Liceville, and you can get out on the handheld.
Well, you're not going, you're not going to.
Handheld ranges aren't gonna be more.
Yeah,
we're not going to.
Yeah.
With our geography. With our geography.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, that's nearly impossible,
They
to do.
talk one.
And they can talk radio.
radio.
Yeah.
Officers could talk to one another, they just couldn't get back to
The dispatch.
the dispatch.
Until they roll up
But
from
you hear
Alney.
the dispatch,
I'm not sure if they can hear the dispatch or not. I'm pretty sure they could hear, but their transmit power wasn't enough to extract the repeater. Well,
I mean, they had to go to Alney to talk through.
they did have to switch over to.
you talking about a full system or a repeat or?
Okay, so they can switch over to Olney's repeater and talk on the Olney station back to here.
No, they didn't talk to us, they just talked to Alney. Alney ended up being the main dispatch, correct? That was, they knocked it.
That was passed over to us.
Oh, so the dispatch console just.
Just relay from Alney.
Okay, all right, it's set up that way. And what we need to do is get a protocol going where when you get in those situations, you go over to Olney, if you're in Olney, which will go through right back into ours, because ours will pick it up.
So the solution is there?
It's a solution that,
Because they're on channel, okay, this is what the radio is set up. They're on channel 1, Alney's on channel 5.
okay,
So, this is on channel 1. If they don't know to switch over to channel 5, then they're still on channel 1, and they don't hear what's going on.
well, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. When you're still in your vehicle, and you're old enough to Olney in the scene that you know you're not gonna have radio handheld contact,
Tell them to switch.
you have a protocol.
You can't.
Why can't you?
Because then you're gonna leave Graham PD alone, you're gonna leave Graham EMS alone, you're gonna leave, and then they won't be able to hear any of this.
There's two consoles over there.
But how do you know there's 2 dispatchers working?
There's supposed to be two dispatchers
All the time?
all the time. That's covered. So the protocol should be, when you do that, that's what needs to be done.
Well, and I think what he's getting at here is, you get out of the car on what may be not a routine call, but, and you start getting shot at, the last thing on your mind is switching channels and taking your radio out of closer to see what channel you're on to switch. The first thing you do is get the cover and worry about the situation, not trying to dial in the frequency. You should be able to hit your microphone, and get dispatch.
It's your first intention to call for some sort of backup assistance,
Yes.
then switching that frequency part of that.
Okay.
Could be.
Let's say that let's say that there's a deputy in Loving, Texas, or just outside of Markley who stops a vehicle. He walks up to the vehicle and the guy starts shooting at him. Okay.
Now you can say shots fired.
You know, no, that doesn't mean that, it means he gets to cover, and he gets secured, and then he does it.
But he can't get out.
First of all, if he's in Markley, Texas, if that's over there in Albany, that handheld radio is not gonna work in Markley, Texas.
I'm just saying between Loving and
And it's not just the
I'm not
sheriff's
saying
office.
Even there.
It's DPS,
Yeah.
it's Grand Police Department, those guys come out and help us all.
The issue you have is that you could hit the repeater with a handheld, west of Allen.
Right.
That's the issue that's up here we're discussing.
The sheriff back up.
That's the issue I'm saying.
Look, is there any part of the system we have now that we can make work until we find some sort of resolution, be it economic or technical?
I tell you what we do to solve this whole problem, is the next meeting we have, we get Dwayne down here from Oklahoma, Texas, and we get him and say that, and tell him, he knows our system inside now. He can give us all the solutions, the pros and cons, the whole 9 yards. And that'll solve the whole deal. We can sit here and discuss this all day long.
We know we have a problem.
We know we got one.
Thank you. And that's my whole deal, is to address that we have a problem, so I want to fix this problem before something tragic needs to be fixed. So.
But it may be, some of those walkie-talkies are watt to half watts. Some of them may be
I thought they were 5 watts.
Some of them are 5 watts. You know, it just depends.
About what and a half.
That's probably the problem.
We need to find out what wattage you have. But the other thing is with your, and that's something else. I think your analog is no different than what you will be on your digital.
And we're narrowband now.
That's right. But are you utilizing digital?
All right, well, our repeater, we have two, my understanding, we have two separate repeaters, we have analog and we have digital repeater, but we haven't switched over to the digital repeater yet.
Okay.
Because not all of the agencies involved are capable.
Digital.
I understand that. See, Arca City's already on digital. They're and/or.
Right. Steve.
They're and/or. So sometimes the digital may be more clear and you have a bit more distance.
Is our problem unique? It's the same kind of problem as we go west.
Our repeater out here is P25 capable.
It's up to snuff on everything.
I don't know who else have their radios narrowbanded and who's capable of the digital,
DPS.
or who's just limited to the analog. But Young County is ready to go now, and all of your radios should be up running on the
Are you
digital.
satisfied that all your communication devices are where they need to be?
Absolutely.
DPS,
Well,
the
there's a couple separate.
Texas Parks and
radios
Wildlife, all those guys have got digital.
Right.
They're ready to go to digital.
Everybody was supposed to be that way.
And I don't know about the Grand Police Department, if they switched over yet or not. They're still old stuff. They're still analog, aren't they?
But they're PG-25.
Yes, but they're not analog, they're not digital. Yeah, they're all analog. So
Our
that's the
primary
only
concern here is communications for officers that are out of their vehicles and on foot.
on hand foot. Yeah.
With your mobile units. Tom,
It would widen out the communication area, wouldn't be.
I just asked if your mobile units up there would talk back to our dispatch.
Most of the time, yes.
It's
The way Dwayne has explained it to me is, it's the geography here.
It is, that's the main, we've got hills and valleys and hills and valleys. And
I
if
just wanna-
if your radio wave works like this right here, it don't work like this.
I'm like,
Right.
serious, phone repeaters would fix that if we want to go that.
Right. And I just think it's something we need to be aware of. I mean, these people, police, EMS, fire, are out working for us, and I think we should give them the best that we can give. They're doing it for us, we need to do it for them.
I probably didn't believe that Mr. Wiley had the right idea, and we can get the
Yeah,
line
Wayne,
down here.
I agree.
Explain our circumstances and what problems we have and what those cures might be.
And I'd like to have Wayne here, I'd like to have somebody from the sheriff's office, fire department, police, and everybody here to
I'll put the word in when we have that next meeting.
We just have a bow well here, see
Yeah.
what we come up with. But he needs to do his homework, he needs to know what needs to be done, he'll get with him. And say this, and with Dwayne, say, hey, this is what we're looking at,
I'll call him.
and, I can visit with him if you want, but.
No, I'll call
You
him.
can get him and say, hey, this is what we need to look at. But I've talked to him several times, and one of the deals is over here. But when you go repeater, that's gonna be on a different frequency other than what we are, you know what I'm saying? So,
Was it, you mean like that program in place radio?
you will, in other words, you'd have to switch to another deal to make it work,
Okay.
kinda like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But we'll get him here, let him explain everything, and that way he'll, got the pros and cons, figures, and all that kind of stuff.
We don't wait here. Now we're coming to the NRAC maintenance use and implementation. Yeah.
Waiting for some. And I'd be happy to show you guys what you got to do.
I told them they would, like they would say, well, it's your sticker. I mean, just not. Yeah, thanks, man.
So well, let's get Dwayne up for the next meeting.
We'll have it next meeting.
Yeah, that's great. And see if we, and honestly, I'd like to get all the heads of Alney, I guess Alney really don't matter.
All you do, man.
Yeah, but we need like,
I'm not saying I'm married, but, you know.
Yeah,
about this big. Yeah, about this particular.
maybe just one for the department, Salt Creek, and maybe Tony Biden.
Only in Young County does the term up Salt Creek actually have some meaning.
Oh, yes,
It's not Salt Creek,
When we're saying that's a tributary, that's exactly what that is.
we get started little with the DPS up here.
Yes.
All in favor?
Uh,
So we'll have another discussion consider round on the 22nd. That motion was by Matt Pruitt, seconded by Mr. Sykes. Wiseman. Okay, item number 14. Discuss personnel policy, vacation, sick, holiday, work schedule, overtime. You've got all of those in your packet. Sent those out, I think, Friday sometime. Have you got an opportunity to review? I think, Mr. Sykes, I think that you have a primary interest here.
I did, and I have reviewed it. I can take another week if we get some more to find out. It's pretty incoherent in places, rambles on, and exempt and non-exempt, and, you know, what have you, and the sick leave versus the, paid holidays, 10-year employees, over 10-year employees. What I came away with on this is that the disposition of these paid holidays and vacation days is really up to the manager of that department. And he makes a rule in his department, says you have to take as much vacation in the first 6 months as you do the second 6 months, so as not to leave the department without manpower, that you can so choose to do that. And I think the only obligation you have is to actually allow them to have their vacations. And that you can pretty well describe to your employees, those working in your department, how you want that vacation taken. The 6 months worth of sick leave, is that right? 6 months worth?
There's
240 hours?
40 hours.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. 6 weeks of
Not
sick
6
leave.
months.
a little different.
Well, you know, by the time you got a 30-year employee with vacation, sick leave and vacation,
Then they
pretty
were.
close to 6 months.
Basically, after 1 year service to the county, you wind up being eligible at any one time to have 120 hours.
120 hours vacation.
Right.
The question that it came up was, could they be paid for that? I believe it says no.
Most instances.
Can't be, and if you go past that, you just simply forfeit them.
If
On
you've
the
got
sick
some, if you've got the amount accumulated there that does not exceed the amount allowable at termination, then yeah, you get.
Termination, you can pay, yeah.
On the
But
sick
that's not-
fund,
that's
the
not
240,
voluntary.
you don't ever get paid for that.
So basically, if they've got vacation days that lapse over January 1st, it just resets back to 40 hours.
And if
They
you
can
have
only
10,
do 44.
Carry forward. So if they got 44, January 1st, they got 40.
Right.
And they don't get paid for the 4.
Right.
Can I ask about one exception? No, I mean, like, if we have one employee that he's the only person, Eric, that can do that job. So he takes a vacation and they call him in. Because he feels obligated, he has to help out with the computer system. He don't want the county's computers to be completely down. So, you know, he's on a vacation day and then he's up here for 3 hours. That's not fair.
We can't isolate one employee.
You got
and give
to.
them.
You really got to.
No, we don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, we don't, not by law. We can't treat
You-
one
you
one
really
way
got
and
to.
treat another another.
If you got one person in that position, you gotta do it.
You're talking about our IT guy, that's a
He's
24/7
exempt
job.
anyways.
So how do we allow him to have time off and away should we need? I mean, how do we handle that?
Unless you hire a part-time person to.
How would you recommend handling it?
Our previous IT person used to have somebody on call, or she was on call,
Then maybe we need to arrange to have some other professional here in
but
town.
it wasn't on the books, it was on paid through the budget, not on as a part-time employee in that department. It was somebody on call for another entity.
Well, there was a time when our IT person, whenever they were gone or something like that, had an issue, they called. NetPro, what?
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, there's a line of professional services in there to pay for some of that. Eric does most everything himself, so he hasn't
Used it.
Yeah, he does, he takes care of it, doesn't use all that money in
But I know I wouldn't feel right calling one of my employees off vacation because it rained and the roads need to grade.
Well, no, but he has the option of using an outside source, but chooses not to.
Well, what would the outside source cost us?
there. There's not a whole lot budgeted in there anymore, though, I don't,
I didn't think so either.
and for as much as is it Red River, Eric?
For the record, if you've been here more than
what?
10 years.
I mean, if you were to use somebody outside source,
You're extra,
PC
PC now, and they're pretty
and
expensive.
longer. And vacation can be taken 1 hour time for the
Minimum 1 hour. I think we do that for doctor's visits and stuff. IT has changed a lot in the past 5 years for sure. It's gonna change a lot in the next 10 for certain. And if we need more and more guidance and help along those lines, that's a situation that we need to address. So far as this vacation time and being paid for it, our policy is pretty clear that you can't be allowed to be paid for it. It'll be something we need to discuss as a court, whether we need to put something in there where, under certain circumstances, they might be paid for. But we would need to make certain that it's a level playing field and apply to everybody equally, and that the exceptions and the circumstances would be properly applied. I know I'd asked my folks if they could be paid for vacation here at the end of the year, would they consider working these next couple of weeks that they're taking off this year, and they said, yes, at least they did this year. So, because they know we've got projects and things that need to be done.
And you'll have to budget more money in your budget.
That's exactly right. And that's where, would that come out from under overtime,
That's-
from that salary?
Yeah, because that's what salary
So
is.
you
Come on,
budget for
salary.
an increase in salary,
And all the other benefits that go along with it.
and if they didn't take it, then just roll
If you lose it, you won't be paid for it.
But the budget goes back and doesn't.
No,
It'd be
it's,
nice to have a separate line.
there's
Yes,
still
it would
gonna
be. You'd have to.
Keep everything separate, that way you distinguish what's regular salary.
But if they take a vacation day, it's paid out of their regular salary line. It's not,
But if they
It's
were
not-
reimbursed for vacation not taken,
right, then it would have to come out of somewhere, because you're not gonna have that
what you're
money.
saying, would have to come out of regular salary line?
Or we could budget it, and we'd have to make a new budget line for it and supply funds for it.
But you'd have to make perimeters for that too. You can't just,
Oh, yeah.
they'd have to tell you in advance and not just say, well, you know what? I'm gonna just take it
Well,
one day, one
deputies-
day and.
We would have a big trouble with the deputies, I mean, we can do it, but it's gonna cost.
Like I say, the problem is, that as of this week, I'm down to 2 employees, and as of the 18th, I'm down to 0 employees for the rest of the month of December. Because of the
You know,
vacation.
you have a 3 long-time employees, they get 3 weeks vacation, they carry over 40
Which is a
hours,
double-edged
it's
sword.
160 hours, yeah. It'd make you short-handed in a hurry.
But it sure doesn't help my constituents if they have a problem out there on those roads to get.
Well, and you're only working 4 days a week too. so-
Jimmy or Matt can do it, I don't know how many employees they got at the end of the year either.
Well,
Our commissioner just got to climb on and go.
I've done it.
And that's what will happen
Learn
if
how to
you
run
dig.
one of those myself.
And then my son calls over there, and this mess that he just made.
Exactly. I'm sure Mill Road 15 minutes, we fix it in 2 weeks.
You want me to come help you out, Mike?
Please.
Yeah, although not often, I'm running those things also on weekends and holidays. When circumstances just present themselves, you gotta do it.
I think
Snow
the
drifts.
commissioner said that that will tell you that some of the projects in the precincts are marginal for a 3-man crew anyway. And, you know, and the fact that we've shared so much time this year using crews where we need 4, 5, and 6 people has come along, then you all of a sudden get a precinct with 0 people, and all you got is a commissioner that started and pulled through the gate and scratched the ground. It's pretty hard.
Just don't cut and learn.
Let me get on and learn, huh?
Have suggestions to remedy that.
But it's not a matter that, it's not just about road, grading roads, is it, Matt? I know you're a better commissioner than that.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
So, you have any suggestions to remedy that?
No, just want to present the problem to the court, see if they have any better solutions than I do for them. My solution is this next year to ask them if they possibly could take their vacations.
You could do
Half
it
of them
like
prior to
40.
June and half of them after June. At least I'll lose them at Christmas time to the first of the year instead of a week before Christmas to the first
Oh,
of the year.
lately, can you even do that? So
Yeah.
you know, they have to take their
As far as I
vacation.
know, the regulation says the department head has full control over how they use the vacation. But you do have to give them the vacation.
You can require them to have approval, and they can't just say at the last minute, I'm just not coming this week. It's your prerogative.
Each department head has their own set of rules that they go by according to policy.
Most of the issues that we have here is in regard to money and personnel. If we had more of both,
More votes than something.
In all honesty, one more hand per precinct.
Make your whole difference.
It'll be totally different. And you know, used to, we had six hands per precinct. And you go out into these other precincts around us, they do have more. You go to Palapenda, they've got 6 or 7 per precinct. But then you go toward Arthur City and they ain't got 2.
Yeah.
Alapanda's got about $2 billion
Yes.
value, and Archer County's probably about half. I don't know, I think what their value is.
Well, Archer County's pretty good, but still, after you talk to those commissioners over there, they said, we wish, we need another one, we can't do it too. Because you have one sick, one on vacation, and there you are.
I got a part-time employee coming in over the holidays, so that's helping me out. You still got beat them.
I still got be available, so you have to be available too if you need. Anybody will be able to do work for anybody. You know, I went through this year with one of my hands on the sick leave something. And that left us an extended period of time with 2 people, and I utilized part-time people during that period of time. And I want to thank y'all for coming in and helping whenever we needed to. Like I said, the question was, can we be paid for our vacation, and when do we need to, can I ask them to use it earlier in the year rather than all at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think you can,
And from what I understand, I stipulate that.
Yeah.
and only at separation, if you got any vacation time, accrued there, whatever that is that we allow, up to that maximum is what they can be compensated for.
So my crew says, but they don't make them do that over in precinct 2, and I said, well, that's great. You're not over in precinct 2.
It's a precinct one.
This is precinct 1.
Mr. Wiley's right, I think in January 1, 1991, there were 6 slots in each precinct. And most of them were filled. Over the course of the years, it's
Yeah. When was the reduction in that?
just progressively, just,
Lost one and lost one.
yeah, just, what do you call that? Attrition, just through attrition. Not hiring one back,
As they retired and
retired,
I
moved
think when
on.
I came in 2000, y'all were already down to 3, or getting there.
3 is not a number, so.
I think we ought to have a hand for every 2 sheriff deputies. That way. Gotta keep y'all some roads to first, aren't we?
Well, since you brought us into this, I could add to y'all's conversation.
I know you be quiet, Tim.
Well, I said yes.
Probably don't turn that down, probably don't have 2 hands, Road and Bridge Department probably don't have 2 hands, for every one, sure.
Maybe so. Maybe so. But,
Maybe when they're off, we could use them.
there you go.
Maybe when they're
Along
all,
with
they
that,
can
there's
get
some
off.
things that's changed, probably less, less labor. People because of all the upgrades and equipment, the new equipment that they maintain, leases, all those kind of things.
Moving equipment materials takes a lot of manpower, and performance and task application takes a lot of manpower.
Yeah.
Well, used to, back then, when we were talking about it, you always had 2 people at the shop working on some piece of equipment, and I don't think that's,
I don't think there's many mechanics at the shop anymore. I'm lucky to have mechanics.
it used to be, so.
You take a hard look at the,
Ran one day and worked on it 2 days.
right, so at how our precincts are manned and
I mean, if y'all like us, when something's down, we'll pretty much shut down the whole day, because you got everybody working on that one vehicle, because it takes, at least 2 guys to work on something 9 times out of 10 for us.
Of course, if everything's still out of warranty, then that takes a bunch of the slack out of it. It's not.
close down, it's down.
It's done.
Whatever. Anyway, that's what I wanted to know, is how the vacations were lined out, whether or not we could stipulate when they were being taken. So I think part of the solution to our problem is this next year by scheduling the vacations a little more stringently. Doesn't have some hot weather enough for that days off instead of cold.
Is there anything else with regard to personnel policy that you'd like to, any of these things that have sick days, vacation time, holiday pay, holiday schedule?
On the sick leave, is there any stipulation that says they have to use vacation before sick leave? Or an extended illness or anything like that?
No, we have a pool too, we take
Yeah.
a pool from.
But it has to be a catastrophic.
Yeah.
It's catastrophic.
But if they're sick,
If they're sick, they
they
just
need
need to be sick leave first.
And that pool, they gotta donate their hours every year, or
It
just,
needs to be done every year, I think.
that's
we're
8
coming
or 10.
8-hour increments.
Yeah.
I think 40 maximum. I think we were coming up on January, and I think most everybody.
Then they had to be employed for a year and have 40 hours pooled in there.
All discussion, no action to be taken. Item number 14.
With no action.
Okay, item number 15 is burn restrictions and or firework restrictions. On the fireworks, if we restrict those at all, they have to be done by the 15th of this month. Does anybody see any reason why we should restrict them? discuss or consider a restriction of fireworks.
So, you know, the only restriction we can actually put as a burn ban is a total restriction, right? Or restrict them to those finned rockets and rockets up on stick.
Well, stick fins and sticks, I guess, isn't it? Sticks and fins.
Missiles with fins and rockets with fins, and missiles with sticks or something like that. And that's a restriction on sale unless it came down to a emergency circumstances, whereby there would be a necessity for full restriction that would come out of the office of the county judge, and then that would have to be upheld to be extended for longer than 7 days.
How does the pasture look out towards your place?
Well, there's some that's got some fuel and there's some that's pretty bare, so it's kind of mixed.
Kind of mixed. Jimmy?
It's so, but the good thing about it, a lot of that winter rise already coming up. We've had no moisture.
So the rain close around.
Rain coming up on it, yeah.
I've got one pasture right there that, south of my house that has water trouble, keeping water in, and I hadn't had anything on that in probably close to a year, and it's got some fuel in it. So,
And you know, I got more rocks and riddles and hills and timber.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I think since I've been on the court, we've only had one time the governor issued, that 1 year that he issued that statewide, and we didn't do nothing.
Was that 11?
When you get on the emergency orders, that's, the county judge issues that, and then within 60 hours has to have authorization through the office of the governor to continue it, and then it's got to come back to this court table within that week. It can't go on any longer than 7 days.
That's exactly what is banned during a burn ban. The commercial use of anything that might be an ignition source, such as welding and
Outdoor burning,
all
well,
that stuff. I think personal outdoor burning though is still allowed, so is personal cooking device.
You can still cook outdoors.
You still have a campfire.
I thought you could, I think have a campfire. I thought your campfire and burning your trash.
Trash is one of the main things,
Yeah.
burst piles, stuff like that.
So we're really not just,
Now,
we can't legislate good common sense kids either, so.
well, you can, even with a burn restriction, if you have a prescribed licensed burn person do that, at NRCS, you can still burn a pasture during your burn.
Yes.
You know,
And they had to bring that up here to the court and show us the plan, and we can say yes, you know.
and I think we're pretty fortunate too. We're probably one of the only counties in the state that hasn't had a burn ban on. We haven't had a whole lot of fires. Because I think when you ban somebody, it builds up, and when you finally release it, they burn this big old pile of everything they saved up forever.
Well, you
All
can,
heck breaks loose.
Yeah.
So I think we're pretty fortunate. And on the 4th of July, it was drier than it is now. Have
Yeah, I think it's good. They're very, very blessed.
And I ordered a copy of
my initial
this
statement is fire, that we
subsection
should have a burn ban.
on the day.
You would want to discriminate.
This section does not apply to outdoor burning activities related to public health and safety that are authorized by the TNRCC, or firefighter training, public utility, natural gas pipelines, or mining operations, planting or harvesting of agricultural crops, or that are conducted by a prescribed burn manager certified under section 153.048 Natural Resources Code, and meet the standard of section 153.047 Natural Resources Code. You can do it outdoors, it doesn't, it's a standard burn ban, not applicable to fires contained in, or either in closed pits like
A fire pit or a cooking pit or that kind of thing.
And you can still weld and do that.
Burning barrel.
Like that. Now, back there when it was real dry, some counties restricted it to a welded, but you had to have a spotter.
right, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But most of our fires during dry weather are in times of high wind.
It's
See
called
the highline wire problem,
that's what causes the natural
and we
cause.
can't ban that.
One year we had welding that burned off over there from Red Hot.
I understand this period of time of year is a little different because people do shoot fireworks and they're not, they're not directed very well. Sometimes they land in the wrong place.
I just think you have less now than what you did before.
Yeah, I don't see them selling it. We don't have any fireworks.
I don't know why. I don't think we're gonna have some rain this week.
I say no action and allow them to sell their fireworks.
Yeah.
I'll second that. But we don't need a second for that.
No action on the burn.
No action.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I think the last burn restrictions we had was lifted on April the 14th of this year.
That's the only one we had this whole year.
So that's the last, most recent. That was implemented on February the 24th when we filed that. Okay. Adjourn motion,
Me.
approve it. Second.
Wow.
All in favor? Aye. 4 of us.
That's why I said it so fast. Jimmy like Johnny on the spot on the motion. Is that right, Dennis?